So guess what? The movie is here, and it's time to talk about some real black girl magic. NERDSoul. Late Ill Kid at OneYoungsta, holding it down, bringing you that StreetGeek and NERDSoul. And what is up, my people, today? Oh yeah, we're about to get into a beautiful movie review, a special edition, because you know I usually don't come to y'all like this, but it just could not wait. So, not gonna waste that time. Vixen, the movie is here. It's amazing, glorious, fun, just like we thought. Now, we've talked about this a couple of times. This is the collection of the show, the first and second season, but there's an extra 15 minutes of footage that were never ever shown on CWC, and it's brand new to the show. So this is going to be a spoiler-ish kind of review because since the season's been out, we've kind of seen most of this stuff. But if you still haven't seen the show, I'm not going to go too spoilery. We're going to kind of skip around some topics that I thought were fun since we've already kind of talked about the show. So this movie really deals well with Vixen as herself, as, you know, someone who is coming into her own, coming into her power, dealing with her family issues, and dealing with her heritage. And I think that this movie does a very good job of characterizing not only Vixen, but her familial relationship and her relationship with Africa and her sister and her mother, who is now gone. And I think it handles it in a way where they don't make it cheesy or hokey. They give their relationship kind of like the normal at odds relationship that we see in many other situations throughout, you know, pop culture, and especially in sci-fi comic books and stuff like that. Sometimes siblings are at odds over a very similar power. And I think that's really what gets me with this movie. Like, you know, the fighting aside, the cool, you know, character design and animation aside, which I'll get to, is someone who's still trying to find herself. And they even reference it in the way she does her art with the fashion design, even though she's supposed to be more than a fashion designer, but we won't go there. The movie's out. The movie's fun, so we're going to leave it at that. But I think it really handles the way she finds herself, the way she, you know, kind of deals with her father, and even her reconnection with her sister very, very well. So one thing that I really love about this is just how they handle the relationship between her and her sister, being two black women, also two black women that have a relationship with Africa, and not dealing with it in a way that just makes it very, I guess the best way to put it would be very stereotypical. And I gotta give y'all some kudos for that, because DC, there have been times where your black superheroes weren't dealt the best hand. And I think in this animation, you know, put a step in the right direction, which I think is dope. And speaking of direction, the way this is paced, when you see the different episodes, it kind of just cuts off so short and you don't really get into the flow. But when all these episodes are put together, especially with the extra 15 minutes that we get, the direction is just very solid. We get our fights, we get our realization with our characters, we get our family moments, and we get some really cool cameos. And when I say cameos, I mean cameos. We're talking about the whole Arrowverse. You get to see Arrow, the Flash, Cisco's in there, Felicity drops by and talks a little bit. You even get Black Canary and the Atom. And there's just so much fun in a scene that even adds, you know, overall, like just so much fun with the Weather Wizard kind of attacking, you know, a certain city where there's tidal waves, there's tornadoes and everything. And even Firestorm shows up to lend a hand. And it's just, it really brings a real world vibe that we normally get in the comics where, you know, something might be going on and they'll say, yo, Vixen, we need you. Or we'll be like, yo, hey, Flash, I need your help. And it just brings that kind of vibe that sometimes you can't get in live action because the bottom line is, yo, budgets and actors need to be paid. But when it comes to drawing, you can draw whatever you want. So it's really cool to kind of get those characters, but not only get those characters, but get the actual voices from the actors, which lends a lot of weight, gravitas, for my boy John Roca, and legitimacy to a project like this. Now, before I go any further, I got to remind you guys that you can find me on Black Hollywood Live. That's right, it's the first online network for African Americans, and it is super dope. You can find celebrity interviews, after shows, sports talk, geek, nerd, tech, black Twitter, all kinds of cool stuff on blackhollywoodlive.com. And after you check that out, if you want to keep up with them from week to week, you can see them on youtube.com/blackhollywoodlive. So I'm pretty sure you guys want to know kind of how I'm going to score this, and not only how I'm going to score it, but how do I feel about the extra 15 minutes that come on and which could start to get into a spoiler territory. I'm going to be very broad and general with this, and the 15 minutes that we get that are extra really deal with her finding herself and finding her voice as a hero. She takes some time out to really kind of connect with the spirit of animals. And I think that's the best way to kind of put it without kind of being overbearing and really giving it a, you know, giving all of it away, I guess you could say. And she also, while dealing with that, ends up connecting with a nice thread of a storyline that goes along with her father's storyline. And I think it's cool. It helps broaden her, you know, her story. It helps kind of like ground her in what she can do and what she wants to do with her powers. And it just helps kind of like ground her and makes it more real as far as the stakes from her perspective and what she wants to do for her city. Now, speaking of her city, we got to remember that she's not only under attack from her sister, but there's other people that are after these totems, like the one that she wears around her neck. And there is a ultimate throwdown with a special someone who comes back and not only takes her on, but Black Canary, the Atom, and her sister. And this is just like any other fight sequence between her and the Flash and Arrow, between her and her sister. And now at this fight scene at the end, even the one with Weather Wizard, it's just well animated, man. Like the character design is there, just the movement is there, the fight moves, the way they frame it is just so well put. And I have to give a big shout out to Phil Barusa for just doing the designs the way he does. Like the way he draws characters are super dope. The way, you know, Flash comes off, the way, you know, like Arrow comes off. Vixen's suit, she has two different suits, and like the cutoff suit with the shoulders, like the summer version and then the winter version, they're both really cool, man. Like I love it because you have a black superhero who is a woman who's fully fleshed out, fully, you know, like, I wouldn't say maybe not Omega level powered, but Homegirl has a lot of powers and she looks cool, which is more than what we can say for some of DC's heroes like Black Vulcan back in the day. But we ain't gonna go there, not gonna go there. Her suit is cool, his suit wasn't, but here's my verdict. Should you guys see this, if you're into DC Comics, if you're into their animated films, yes. You wanna know why? Because I'm giving this film 4.5 stars. That's right, I enjoyed it for the DC animation. For a solo feature, I think Vixen is on the right path. I'm very intrigued by it, especially from the lore that they placed inside of her totem about Africa and all of those things. I think that there's a lot more to explore there, and I hope to see her character in the live action version more, and also animated again for another, you know, maybe 2 or 3 seasons, and then, you know, maybe collect that in another film. One of my big drawbacks for this, of course, was the fact that it was short. This movie is clocking in at, I believe, 75 minutes. You do get a post-credit scene, so do not turn this movie off immediately. But it is short. I wish we could have had maybe another 10 to 15 minutes to help maybe like tie it all together, especially on the family aspect and especially with the last person that became an adversary, because there was a lot of drama with that last hurdle that she had to cross to become the fully fledged Vixen that you and I know today. So I say it's definitely worth watching, man. If you're into DC animated stuff, check it out. If you're into animated features at all, check it out. So Saturday, man, you gotta get your day on. Do some chilling. So I'm about to let you do what you do. Jump down in the comments, holla at me, I'ma holla at you, and I'm gonna tell you to hit up ThatNERDSoul.com. That's right, check me out there. All my videos from the oldest, newest, latest, greatest, all that. And you can hit me up on shop.thatnerdsoul.com and pick yourself up a t-shirt, player. And don't forget one for them playettes. Then come back here, like, comment, subscribe, and share that Nerd Soul. That is right. There is no better way that I can tell people that you like what you are watching. And my shout outs got to go to LA, what up? VA, what up? RVA, you got my heart. And please, man, be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And check out Vixen. It's dope. Peace.